The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hello and welcome to another special edition of our program, CHW In Action, with your friend, your host, your CHW, Rafael Calderon. It's been a long time since we did a TV show, so I hope that my audience has not forgotten me. This year has been a very tough year for me. A lot of losses, big losses, a lot of challenges, but I have always found a way to stay true to my course to be the best CHW that I can be. And I also like to always emphasize that CHW stands for Community Health Worker. And the name of this TV show is CHW In Action, because I am always in action. I am always in action trying to bring you, my community of Nashua, of Manchester, of New Hampshire, of the whole New England region and beyond, reaching out to North Carolina. I want to bring everyone that I know a message on how to create your ideal lifestyle. Or I want to introduce you to better ways on how to create your ideal lifestyle. This is a passion of mine that I've been doing since 2016. I established CHW Forever in the September 20th of 2016, and the idea was to simply become a CHW. I used to tell people that my friends that got me into the community health work field or environment or universe. I used to tell them I want to be an interstate community health worker, meaning I want to do CHW work in all the regions, all the states in the region of New England, and all the regions of the United States. But I figured I would start in Manchester, Nashua, New Hampshire, and the whole state of New Hampshire, my home, and then go into other states in the New England region. Once I got around the New England region, then the goal was to reach out to North Carolina because I have family out there, and now I have a few friends down there, and that was the plan. It's been the constant plan since 2016. And I remember very much when I would talk to people about my plan, basically to introduce people to new ways on how to create their ideal lifestyle, living a healthy lifestyle, using CHW Forever's Wheel of Life philosophy. I always said, if I can get someone to learn or to listen to me on how to learn how to better manage their social determinants of health, I'm sure that they will live better lives. Better lives lead to happier lives, and happier lives lead to more productive lives. And we all want to be productive. We all want to be, let's use the word successful in life. So in my mind, to build a community, you start by teaching people how to better manage their social determinants of health. And the main reason why I refer to the ideal lifestyle is because really if you take the social determinants of health, which is how a person lives, where a person lives, what a person does for work, the environment that a person lives in, what people eat, how people healthy eating, or what people exercise or work out. How do people stay healthy? What do people do on a daily basis? That is what basically what means or what entails in the social determinants of health. So my job is basically, my goal is to help people to do this. Now, I want to go back to what I just mentioned, that when I became a CHW back in 2016, no, let me back up a little. I became a CHW in 2016, and I created my own business, CHW Forever, in 2016 because I wanted to become an independent CHW. And I want to point out right here, now that I'm back in my TV studio in Nashua, at Access Nashua, the name of CHW Forever actually came from my friend, I'm going to call him Mr. Gagnon. We were talking about a name for my TV show, and he mentioned CHW Forever. And I said, no, I should do CHW In Action because that was the name of the programs that were going on back in that day. But CHW Forever stuck with me. So when I became an independent business consultant, then I used the name CHW Forever. Enough about me. Okay, now let's talk about the real reason why I'm back doing this TV show. And I want to be clear, I never really left. I never really left. I was dealing with too many things, but I was working in the background. I have never stopped doing all that I can for my community of Nashua, and I'm going to tell you a quick example of that because it ties into the message that I'm trying to bring today. Okay, so I have a new employer, right? I'm not going to mention the company's name because I haven't gotten permission for that. But I have a company, a new employer. I work for a company. It's a healthcare company, and my title is Healthcare Ambassador. A healthcare ambassador is really a mix of a community health worker and let's say a community and a social worker, really. It's really a blend of the two positions. I do all kinds of things. But here's the key thing. The key thing is that this company is nationwide and it's coming into New England, right? It's in four of the states of the New England region, and it happened to come into New Hampshire, and I happen to have been blessed with getting this job with this company. But the job, like I said, it's a mix between CHW and social work. So let me tell you what happened. I started getting patients in Rhode Island, in Massachusetts, and in New Hampshire. So what ended up happening, that what I predicted or what I talked about or what I wished for back in 2014 when I completed my training as a CHW, I said I want to be an interstate community health worker, an interstate CHW. Now I am that. I'm helping people in 3 different states, and now my company is about to go into Connecticut. So eventually, they're going to go fully in it. They're there, okay? But I've done things in Connecticut. But the idea that I'm trying to tell you is that my goal came true. My dream came true, right? Why? Because I was consistent on setting goals, and life happened. Things happened to me in my life, but I was always true to my calling. Let's call it a calling, to my passion, to be useful to others. Everything that I do is with the idea of being useful to others. So now, here I am. I'm working in different states within the New England region. I am now an interstate community health worker. And guess what? 2 weeks ago, I have to have a little bit of water. That's good water. About 2 weeks ago, there was a company meeting, and to my surprise, it was a big surprise for me. The last thing in my mind was that the now vice president of my company, a very, very nice lady, she chose to recognize my work nationally. I mean, remember I told you the company is nationally. She chose to recognize my CHW work, which for my company is ambassador work, in all these different states. So that got me thinking. That got me thinking into a lot of things. I can show you the proof of this honor, this recognition, just so that you see that I'm not making it up. If you have met me in 2014, you would have heard my words, and now it came true. So you know what that means for me? That means that I have to forget about my personal struggles, because I'm struggling with some very heavy things that I'm not going to get into because, it's personal stuff, and I'm sure you don't want to hear it. Plus, I want to stay positive, right? If I start talking about that stuff, then it wouldn't be a positive situation anymore. So I can talk to anyone on one-on-one about that. But on the air, I'm just going to say I've been challenged, big, heavy things, bigger than I can handle, right? But God has never left my side. God has always been there with me. So I've made it through somehow. and with the angel of my Father watching over me. So I'm at a point in my life when I can say, okay, I'm going to put my pain on hold. I'm going to self-manage my depression, my chronic depression, so that I can be useful to others. And that brings me again to why I want to bring this message, why I'm doing all this talking about CHW Forever, my CHW work, and how it's taken from 2014 up until now to actually find other people to recognize me. I could not find that recognition in New Hampshire, as much as I love my state. Okay, I could have been doing the work that I'm doing back in 2016. I'm going to tell you something funny. When I became an independent CHW, I went to every organization that I had worked with in Nashua, and any person, any leaders in the community of Nashua that I knew, and I told them, listen, I have this great idea. I'm going to become an independent CHW. I registered my business as CHW Forever. I'm going to help so much more people, but I need funding to get started. If I get a full-time job, then I won't have the time to do the work that I want to do. And a full-time job is the best way to get money. Never mind getting a loan because my credit is not perfect. So would you like to join me? Would you like to invest in me? You know what I found? Many, many polite ways that people said no to me. So I was not able to get CHW Forever started that way that I wanted to. That was in my beautiful, lovely city of Nashua, which I still love because we got to take the good with the bad. The point being is that now I'm doing that. Now I'm doing that. And I have found people in my past that say, well, you're in Nashua, you should be concentrating on helping people in the Nashua community, right? But see, what I love about Nashua, one of the things that I love so much about Nashua is that people actually do care. There's so many people in Nashua that care about other people beyond Nashua. And my community in Manchester, people care too. Let me not leave that behind. But in Nashua is where I can send this message on TV. So I know people that care. I know there are good people. It's just a matter of business. You don't want to mix business with personal, because then things could go bad. So a lot of people did not support me. A lot of people were not there when I needed them. A lot of organizations politely said no to supporting me. I didn't take it personal. I just kept working at my goals. I ended up going to Manchester and working at my goals from there, but I'm always somehow drawn back to Nashua. Nashua has something special. There's a magic in Nashua. And that brings me to the reason why I started talking about my job and about being an interstate CHW and being recognized nationally for my work, because a few of my patients happen to be from Nashua. So I've been coming to Nashua all year. That's why I said earlier, I've never left Nashua. People tell me all the time, when I bump into people in the community, they say, where did you go? You disappeared. I haven't seen you, I haven't heard you. I always say to everyone, I never left. I'm just outside of the mainstream, per se. I'm not a part of any community organization. I don't attend community meetings, so on and so forth. But the people that know me, the people that know my work, when they need something from me, they call me and I'm here. And they know that. So I don't have to go into that. My show is for everybody. My message is for those that know the type of work that I do. And I have tons of testimony, letters of testimony that can attest to my commitment to my community of Nashua. So the beautiful thing of me coming to Nashua every Friday to pick up food at the Salvation Army, thanks to my friend Grace Tavares, who's always there for me and helps me help people.
Hi, I'm Grace Tavares. I'm here with Rafael Calderon at the Salvation Army, getting ready to give food to seniors and people who have food insecurities or in need. If you need any of the above, please contact myself, Grace Tavares, or Rafael Calderon, so we can help you in the future. We are also planning a Puerto Rican event, a cultural event that we'd like to see you attend. Stay tuned for more information. Thank you.
Right? I was able to help these patients to deal or better handle food insecurity so they could get healthier. And I have a wonderful, beautiful story for you. I'll make it real quick. And she gave me permission to share it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a special TV show about it. And I'm going to see if I can get her to come on TV with me. But I have this lady, this lovely lady, older lady, right? Because I work with seniors. I work with everyone that has chronic conditions, and it's part of my a part of it's a patient of my company, but mainly it's seniors. She had issues with her feet that I cannot get into. The point being is that her doctor wanted her off her feet so that her feet could heal. But she couldn't afford to do that because she had to support her family. So I was assigned to this very nice lady, and I sat down with her and I listened, the whole CHW stuff. I did some motivational interviewing, and it turned out that we came up with an action plan, and she needed time to heal, and she needed to heal not only her foot, her mind, her spirit, because she was dealing with a lot, right? So what did I do? I went to my friend Grace. I told Grace, I need to deliver food to this patient. Can you help me? Of course, she said yes. So we started getting food for this lady. So I would come from Manchester to Nashua specifically to pick up food, deliver it to this patient. The patient started saying nice things about this to our nurses, so the nurses spoke to other patients. And before you know it, I had a good group of people in Nashua that I was delivering food to. And they were all getting better because they were eating better, and they were less depressed because they had one less thing to worry about. Let's put it like that. So when my friend, I almost said her name by mistake, when my friend found herself feeling healthy enough that she could use her feet, she actually sent me a message. And again, she gave me permission to use her story. But I want to do something special for her, and then I will share the story in a better way. But for now, she sent me a message, and she said, thank you so much for bringing me all these foods. I've tried different types of foods that I would have not tried if it wasn't for you. And my pantry is now full. So is it okay if we put that food delivery on hold, because now I'm better and I can basically do things on my own? And I'm telling you, that is just a beautiful story. It's, to me, it should be to anyone, because one of the biggest things that people complain about, organizations-wise, companies-wise, that are hesitant to help people in need, is because they think that people are going to become dependent on them, and that they're going to be living off of whatever help you give them. I have proof that if you help someone with the right intentions, you will help them become better, feel better. And that is what the social determinants of health are all about. You see, I could have sat down with this lady and talked to her forever, and I could have listened to her problems, and I could have given her phone numbers to social agencies. I could have referred her to places, or I could have even called places for her. But the bottom line is that she needed time to heal, and she needed help with the most basic things. My company did that for her. It wasn't me, I was just a vehicle. If anything, it was my company and Grace that helped this lady do that. So you see, how could anyone not take the time to think, okay, if we give this Rafael guy a chance to bring his CHW Forever School of Life philosophy into Nashua, into Manchester, into New Hampshire, into the New England region, into North Carolina, into the whole United States of America. What if we can help people live better lives by teaching them how to live a healthier lifestyle via using CHW Forever School of Life philosophy? Because the whole thing is that we want people to create their ideal lifestyles, right? But how can a person create their ideal lifestyle when they're struggling? It's a very hard thing to do. It's a very hard thing to do. Thanks to God that we have companies like mine that hire people like me, that believe in people like me, and they enable me to be useful to others. Okay? Thanks to God that I have friends like Grace Tavares that are always there for me. And I have many other good friends in Nashua that support my work. I'm concentrating on Grace because I want Grace to be recognized for the great work that she does, right? But imagine that for one moment. Imagine if anyone that had needs in their lives could have a way to make things better. Imagine that. That is what I want to bring to Nashua. Well, I want to bring to everywhere, but I want to start in Nashua as CHW Forever. Now, how do I deliver that message? How do I deliver the message that I want CHW Forever to be the vehicle that introduces people to new ways on how to create their ideal lifestyles, via living a healthier lifestyle, via using CHW Forever's Wheel of Life philosophy. How do we do that? Let me tell you 2 ways in how we do that. I have not mentioned yet anything about the vicious cycle of symptoms that trap people in a mindset where people feel that they are stuck where they are. And what is the biggest, I guess, example of someone feeling that they're stuck where they are? And of course, I'm assuming that they are in a bad place, because when we're happy, we want to stay there. We don't feel stuck. When we're happy, when things are good for us, we don't feel we don't feel stuck. We feel lucky. That's why I'm putting my attention into, making things better, right? Because if things were better, we wouldn't need a philosophy to make things better, right? So people get trapped in a vicious cycle of symptoms. And the symptom is just going to keep people down. And the way to break out of that cycle, of vicious cycle of symptoms, is learning how to use CHW Forever's Wheel of Life philosophy. Now that brings me to, I guess, the key part of this message. And I'm sorry that I had to talk so much to get to this point, because this is what I wanted you to see where I'm coming from, right? The second vehicle that we are going to use, that I want to use, and by we I mean anyone that wants to join me. The second vehicle is that I want to create a fundraising or fund, I don't know how to pronounce that word too well. Let's say a fundraising event where I can raise funds for my board, Access Nashua, where in a monthly basis, I do a special activity, I do a special video production to help people, to introduce people to the Wheel of Life philosophy, to CHW Forever's Wheel of Life philosophy. That's the key. How do we want to do that? Okay, I want to have monthly raffles. I want to have monthly raffles. And I want to find something cool that people can use. The example, how I want to start, the example of how I want to start. So this summer, I met with my nephew, Brian, my nephew that I love. He's a very, very smart, he's like a genius type of person. And he's very focused about when he puts his mind into doing things. He's very creative, right? So he wanted to, first of all, he bought this Oculus machine. It's one of those gargles that you put in. If you've been following my show for years, you would see that a couple of years ago, I came in and I had my own, my Samsung gargle on. Virtual, it's a VR, yeah, it was a VR system that I had, and I wanted to promote this this ideal life philosophy through these things, right? So he picked up on that years ago, and he made it better. So he wanted to create something where he would make this available to people. So he said, I have one of these Oculus Quest 2 things. I'm saying things because I want to make sure I don't say the wrong word. And he says, if you buy one, we can create something where we offer this to people to help them come out of depression. And once they're out of depression, then you can introduce them to the Wheel of Life philosophy, to CHW Forever's Wheel of Life philosophy. So I have one, you have one, and we make this happen. You help me get the word out there, and then we'll make it happen. Well, unfortunately, and I have to say unfortunately, because without him, it's not working. So unfortunately, my nephew got involved in a different project and then didn't have the time for that. So I found myself with an Oculus Quest 2 without knowing how to use it, completely brand new. I only put it on once, and that was to adapt it to my face, and he put my name on it, but I promise you, I didn't use it not even once, because I don't know how to use it, So I thought, what if I raffle this beautiful thing, and with the funds, the money that I raised from it, I donate it to FAN, and then FAN can have a news program. What we want is a factual news program out of Access Nashua, Nashua Access TV, where I can present. It's not just going to be me. I mean, we're going to hire, when it happens, we're going to hire professional anchors and news people. But I'm also going to ask to have a segment once a month where I can do a special video production where I show people or I introduce people to new ways on how to create their ideal lifestyles. And then we bring CHW Forever like I said, to Nashua, to Manchester, to New Hampshire, to the New England region, to North Carolina and beyond. So that's the key. We, as she keeps saying, we are going to start bringing together this new idea so we can bring people together through the raffles, and through the raffles, we'll raise the funds that we need to create this factual news TV program out of Access Nashua that is going to bring very, very interesting news to the community. Let me give you a quick example of why we need a factual news TV station program in Nashua. When unfortunately, recently in my country, we lost a giant. We lost Johnny Ventura. You know, he was a giant of our Dominican culture. So let me pay my respects. I want to pay my respects to the Johnny Ventura family. I will take my hat off in respect because of his passing. But I wanted to see a lot of coverage on that. And we didn't have a news station here in Nashua to do that, in New Hampshire for that matter. Okay, that's one thing. Some weeks back, unfortunately as well, there was a tragedy in Haiti where the president of Haiti was killed at his own home. And I kept hearing so many different opinions of people on what happened, so many gossips of what happened. There was no factual news. We need a news station, a news program in Nashua. And one of the biggest things about that project is that I can introduce my philosophy. That is the main core of this whole interview. That's why I did all this talking, because I want to have a vehicle to bring CHW Forever Swell of Life philosophy to everyone that needs it on a monthly basis. And then we will have a news program, a factual news program that can basically bring a sense of life that it would be good if we had in Nashua. And like I keep saying, we don't have to stop in Nashua, okay? We can broadcast this thing all over the place. That's the goal, okay? We are now coming to the end of this program, and I want to thank you very much for your time. And I know that I talked a little bit, but the whole idea was to bring you this message. And I will close with telling you that next week I will talk to you about a dog tour video production that I made to start introducing you to this type of productions that I want to do. I'm sorry. And with that, I truly, truly want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope you enjoyed this program. I hope you listened, and I hope that you join us in making this thing happen, this news program, and to bring CHW Forever to everybody, because there are people in Nashua that truly, truly need to create their ideal lifestyle. And with that, your friend, your CHW, Rafael Calderon, God bless.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.